Welcome back. As part of our playlist series on sea fishing conditions, this installment will cover how water temperature plays its part, and how with the right knowledge, you can give yourself the best chance of making your sessions as productive as you can. We'll start with discussing the wind and the pivotal part that it plays on water temperature. We'll then take a look at air temperature and its knock-on effects on the water. Finally, we'll take a look at one of the lesser-known effects of tide and its relation to water temperature. So, let's start by jumping straight in and discussing how important the wind can be. Firstly, it should be noted that fish will not feed as readily when there is a sudden drop in temperature, or if temperatures are significantly lower than the average temperature for a certain time of year. This is linked to the fish's ability to metabolize its energy. Being cold-blooded creatures, their body temperature is determined by the water around them, which affects their ability to feed. Each species has its own preferred temperature range. Wind can have a significant effect on water temperature. This is especially true of shallower bodies of water. The effects will be more noticeable in unsheltered shallower water, so deeper water or water sheltered from the wind will show less of an effect. Though wind can have some level of an effect from the word go, it is typically more true that it takes days, rather than hours, to cause a significant effect on water temperature. The term easterly wind is notorious in fishing circles for bringing poor fishing conditions. This is typically true, as eastern winds, particularly sustained wind over a period of days, will significantly drop water temperature. Eastern winds bring colder air, and this is also true of northern winds. There is another potentially negative factor with these types of wind that involves something called barometric air pressure. We won't cover that in this video, but we'll provide a link at the end for anyone who wishes to learn more. In terms of western and southerly winds, the effect on water temperature tends to be the opposite. They tend to bring warmer, more stable conditions, so tend to be the preferred winds to fish in. An important final note on wind direction though, temperature is not the only thing it affects. There are other factors such as wave action to take into account, and even southerly and western winds can bring less effective changes in air pressure. So, wind effects aside, what about the more short-term effects of air temperature itself? Air temperature, alone, doesn't have a huge effect on water temperature in the short term. It can have more of an effect when winds are brought into the equation, but overall, it will typically take at least days or weeks, rather than hours, to cause significant changes. As in the case with wind, air temperature's shorter-term effect on water temperature will be more noticeable in waters that are more shallow, so fishing deeper water that retains temperature will see less of an effect, whether it be colder or warmer air temperatures. In very hot conditions that are significantly above average temperatures for the time of year, such as during summer heat waves, water temperature may see a noticeable rise. This will occur over many days or weeks, again, more affecting shallower water. During these times, certain species that would otherwise be at a venue for that time of year may move offshore into deeper water, where temperatures are cooler, only returning inshore when temperatures have eased down. Again, this is related to the fish species' ability to effectively absorb oxygen. One last final note on air temperature. When night fishing, though this can be a very effective time to fish, nighttime can cause a minor drop in shallower inshore water temperature. This will be particularly true during winter and early spring when days are shorter and nights are longer. This temperature effect may actually even be favorable during very warm summer periods, but during periods where a rise in temperature is more relied upon, such as early spring, a drop in temperature overnight is something to be aware of, with day tides being a possible preference, depending on other conditions, like the choice of venue or expected species. So for our final section, let's cover one of the lesser-known facts about tide. and its effect on temperature. Take a look at this cross-section of a typical sea or ocean. First, we have the top portion of the water. This is known as the epipelagic zone. This is the depth of water at which sunlight can effectively penetrate through the water. It has an average depth of around 200 meters and an average lower temperature of around 13 degrees centigrade. This top level is the warmest level as it receives the most sunlight, and any heat retained in deeper water also has a tendency to rise. Down below the top level, we have the Thermocline. Here, waters are much darker and colder. This part is also usually much more stable in terms of movement, as it isn't exposed to the wind and waves, so it sits relatively unmixed at the bottom. There is, however, a huge exception to this, and that is when a strong tide occurs. Large tides, particularly spring tides, will pull deep cold water up from the depths and towards any inshore waters as the flood tide for a particular venue flows in. This can cause a sudden drop in water temperature and will be particularly noticeable in the largest equinoctial spring tides of the year. Again, the noticeable effect this could have on fishing would be venue and calendar dependent, with factors like a venue being near deeper, colder seas, or the time of the year being early in the year. Hi guys, just a quick reminder, if you like my videos and find that you are learning some useful tips, please do remember to click the subscribe button just under this video. Subscribing is completely free. There's no sign-up process as it's all done at the click of a button. Also do remember to hit the like button if you find a specific video interesting and helpful. Doing these things really does help support the channel and allows me to keep making more and more helpful videos that will hopefully make your sessions that much more enjoyable. Thanks so much guys. This edition of our Conditions series contained plenty of info to digest. So well done for reaching the end guys. We hope that you have a better understanding of how temperature works when it comes to sea fishing. If you would like to know how wind affects other important conditions, like wave action or barometric air pressure, check out the link showing now. Don't forget you can browse all the videos on our channel page by clicking the channel name below this video. Alternatively, you can search Lighthouse Sea Fishing Tutorials. Thanks again guys. See you soon.